Good morning, and thank you for joining us. My name is Jonathan Hamilton. I'm the president at Point Alliance. In today's Solution for Success session, we'll be focused on Microsoft Intune. Again, many benefits to Microsoft Intune in managing your Windows, your iPhone, your Android devices, assisting with your endpoint security, assisting with your compliance, new employee onboarding, integration with other Microsoft Cloud software and platforms. So I am joined by my colleague, John Zeri, the CEO at Point Alliance, and I will turn it over to him to get started.
Thank you, Jonathan, for the introduction, and welcome, everyone. Very exciting session. This is one of my favorite, Microsoft Intune. At Point Alliance, we have lots of experience with deploying Microsoft Intune for many organizations and various sizes. That said, I do have a bunch of slides, but that said, I will go through this thing quickly because I want to go to live demo and show you some exciting stuff. We want to make sure this all your questions get answered, so feel free to post your question. We monitor those and we answer them as they come up. And again, this is very short session, basic introduction. If you do require additional demos or so on, and feel free to reach out after this demo, and we'll be happy to provide you the extensive version of the Intune. So we're going to start with a short introduction, of course. What is Microsoft Intune? Device management best practice in a hybrid world work environment, implementing security policies for mobile devices, integrating Intune with other Microsoft services, enhancing compliance and monitoring with the Intune. So again, some of you might know, you have met my colleague, Jonathan Hampton, earlier. My name is John Zare. And Point Alliance is a Microsoft solution partner with multiple designation. We are based in Toronto, Canada. And our team, we are very proud to say that they're 100% Microsoft certified. So introduction to Microsoft Intune. So as some of you might be familiar with it, is a unified endpoint management, right? So again, it doesn't matter what type of device it is, hardware-wise or what operating. We manage Intune manage Windows devices, Android devices, iOS, and Mac OS, and the list is growing as well. So what does Intune does? Other than the fact of deployment and so on, also Intune ensures secure access to organization resources while maintaining user productivity across. Security is one of the top priority concern for most organizations, and Intune ensure that all the compliance and policies are in place when a user accessing the organizational data. Corporate data protection. Again, Intune, we will get into that as well, that how it works with the Defender and also with the compliance and purview to make sure you're accessing the document you need to do, how the device, how the user interaction, for example, with the SharePoint is, and so on. So the key component and we have is the device enrollment, and that's there are many scenarios with this. Like, again, it depends on size of organization. We could have a hybrid environment, or we can Azure only join devices. That means, you know, you might have multiple hundreds of devices with your organization right now. You can just wipe them and bring them to the Intune. So there's a hybrid model in place that provide the same functionality and flexibility for existing devices. Policy management. There are many policies, and I will get to that in a part of our demo, that you can manage anything from your background and a screen to bookmark for your favorite, how the apps behave, and so on. Would you allow the user, for example, use the USB to kind of transfer data? And so there are many features available. Basically, whatever you see on the group policies with the Windows is also available in Intune for device management. App deployment, it just made so easy. What you can do, of course, any organization have the apps that is required for all users, and some might be not for all. So there's ways to kind of do those things through the company portal basically you can self-service those things. So if somebody needs, for example, to download the Zoom application, they don't have to contact the IT support. They can just go to the company portal, click on it, and get installed. Again, the whole scenario is that that device is all protected, and the user does not have administrative access to the device to do whatever they want with it. So that's why the company portal is important, because the app is already provisioned. They will be able to do that. Also, we can do conditional access type of app deployment. For example, you purchase a Visio license for the user. We can have all those things in place. So once the license is placed, Intune through dynamic groups will recognize that, oh, this person has a Visio now, and it all get automated and self-service there. So there's lots can be done to make sure you're proactive and less support required. Reporting and monitoring, of course, is very important. Are the devices in a compliance? And those reporting and monitors are important because we see that more when you want to sign your cybersecurity insurance with your insurance company, asking for this thing. Is your devices managed? Do you have those things? So it's almost becoming a must to have Intune in play or some sort of the endpoint device management. So a role in modern device management. Again, centralized device control. The beauty of this thing is all cloud-based and all accessible. You can manage all those from the one central place. Compliance enforcement. You can put certain things like the device need to have a firewall on, the defender need to be on, and so on. And so the device need to be compliant. And as soon as the device become uncompliant, you can have notification go to IT support and also the user to allow them to let them know that's happening. So you don't have to kind of constantly monitor it. If there's an issue, you will get notified right away of those things. Based off the condition you have, you can say if the device become non-compliant for 7 days, they cannot access any of your Microsoft 365 information or connect to it. So there's lots of the ways you can kind of enhance your security. Seamless user experience is very important because when you do device management through the Intune, no matter how many devices they do, they all have the same experience. Because imagine if you have your team that set up the device, usually take about 3 or 4 hours to set up a device. By the time you update it and you patch it and you put the app you want. And depends if you have a team of the multiple IT support, they might all do it different way. With the Intune, the experience is consistent and doesn't really care about the hardware. It could be HP, Lenovo, Microsoft, or Dell. They all work there. So you're not building an image, you're setting setup and configuration, which is dynamic. So device management best practices in hardware world. So again, tailored device policies. We can do certain things, for example, depends on top of the vendor, as I mentioned. You can set up those policies. Security across all platform. Again, doesn't matter what device you have. It could be the mobile device, or it could be a Windows device, and so on. Maintaining all those things. Maintaining the compliance. The compliance is very, of course, important to make sure the device has all the required security standards, regardless of the OS, again, as I mentioned. So they all can be done regardless of the OS type. And again, every device has its own configuration, but you'll be able to kind of set the configuration as needed for all those things. I will get to it too. Remote device onboarding, and this applies to all the OSs, right? Imagine you buy a brand new laptop, and as we work in the hybrid world work environment, you want to ship the hardware right to the user. The user turn on the device, go through the process to just put the username and password, your organization, and the device get built based off your requirement. So that's a beautiful thing to you. Same thing with the mobile devices. With the, for example, iPhone, you can ship a brand new iPhone, you turn it on. And if this was for Point Alliance, you turn on, as soon as you turn on the brand new iPhone, it says welcome to Point Alliance, and you use username, and the device get built based off what your requirements. Anything from apps they need to have, the background image, and all the security or firewalls they need to have. Device life cycle management, that's important too, to kind of be able to, and we can see As you all aware, with the Windows 10 retirement this October, the tool like Intune is become more important. You're going to look at it. Okay, what type of devices we have? Are these devices able to be upgraded in place to the Windows 11 or not? So Intune provide you lots of the information to make the decision making easy. Again, user and device enrollment strategies, the automatic enrollment benefit is great. BYOD, that's also very important, especially come to mobile devices. So there's lots of security built into it that you'll be able to kind of allow your staff to bring their own mobile devices, but inherit all your security without adding even a profile to their phones. So again, you can control that, and Microsoft done a great job to kind of build the security into all the apps, which is the 30 plus apps, that the security encryption happening with the apps and the personal device doesn't get touched whatsoever. Minimizing user friction, choosing the right enrollment method ensures smooth adoption. And that's very important. Reduce the challenges for users in the hybrid work because they're working from home or those things. So that's a very important factor. So implementing security policies for mobile devices, device restriction. You can set the restriction, for example, don't allow people enrolled on personal Windows devices there. Password requirement. Again, through all the OS versions, you can set up different policies. You can set up the policy that they have to renew the password and so on, and that could be standardized through the whole thing. Encryption standards. Of course, with the Windows devices, BitLocker, that you can enforce a BitLocker through your Windows devices, which is very powerful, and also capture all the keys within the Intune, so you don't have to worry about it. Where's my BitLocker key, or use a third-party tool? It does a great job with that. Application control, again, what people can use and what environment and so on. So they're all built into it. That as I mentioned earlier, with application control, especially on the mobile devices, that might be BYOD, and we will not have a control over those things. This is great, the conditional access control. Again, lots of organizations want to make sure in order to get to the Microsoft environment, like a SharePoint and so on, you need to come up with a compliance device. So with the use of Intune and using the conditional access in the Microsoft Intra, we can establish that. So you only can get to the SharePoint site to do that. Or we can put condition, for example, you can get to the SharePoint site, but if you're not coming from the compliance device, you're not going to be able to download any attachment. You could, of course, view the documents, but you will not be able to download it. The only way to download it that, and that can be achieved using the Microsoft Intune in combination with the conditional access. Integrated threat protection. Again, if you do have a Microsoft Intune license, you also probably have access to the Defender. And for a sub 300 organization, we highly recommend using Microsoft 365 Business Premium license, which it does have all those you need. Again, integrated with your Windows, so it's your best protection built with that. The combination of Intune, Microsoft Defender, your device will be fully protected. And again, our goal is always to do more with less. If you have that license, in many cases, you do not need to add a third-party tool to that, unless you have a specific need. So again, the tools are very powerful and provide you all the security you want. Data loss prevention. Again, that's also with the combination of the Intune conditional access. We can control it that in order for the file to transport. For example, if you have a file on your desk and you want to move it to the USB, we can control all those things, that if the file is labeled secure or confidential, does not transfer to USB key. So you can get to that level of the management and control when you do that. And the privacy setting, user configurable setting, help maintain confidential while complying with the privacy setting. So again, the whole goal is that not to remove the productivity from the user, but we make sure we also have all the necessary security to protect your organization. And integrating Intune with the other Microsoft services. Again, identity-driven management with the Azure AD, and bringing your information of if you have on-premise servers as well with the Active Directory, syncing it to the Azure AD, and the intra. We touch on the conditional access policy, which are very powerful. They work in a combination with the device management and Intune. Single sign-on capability. If once you are into a device is enrolled, you open the Edge Chromium, you go in there, you're browsing, already know who you are. Your OneDrive is all set up and is linked in because the device is already provisioned, and so that's really make it easy for the user to interact with all the organization information without worrying that they have to kind of maintain and to key in the password to accessing each of those apps. And again, access management to the Microsoft 365, we touched on that already. Security enforcement, especially in the hybrid work environment, that we can provide that. For example, even if the device is not hybrid join, maybe it is Azure only join as well, because how the security works and the connector works behind the scene, we can use a firewall, and you'll be able to kind of map the drives that your server drives and your user account through the Active Directory and Azure AD sync that's happening behind the scene. It carries all the identity of those things, so you'll be able to even log into your shared drives on maybe on the on-premise servers. We don't need to add additional authentication to access those info. So there's lots of things is there. As I said, I'm just going to go through this thing so I can get you right to the demo. The next thing is enhancing compliance and monitoring the Intune. That's very important to make sure what is a compliance policy, tracking policy adherence. There's lots of reporting built in Intune in conjunction that if you can get excellent reporting, and also, of course, from the Microsoft Defender and logging of those things. So there's lots of information there. Generating compliance report, that's important, of course, for a management to make sure all your device and the user they are in compliance, and that information also required these days when you need to get your cybersecurity insurance. Real-time status monitoring, you can look at any device, look at the device health. If the user, for example, is saying that my device is not behaving, you can look at all those things. And I'm going to go to those as well shortly. The other thing is also happening that, let's just say there's an issue with a device and the person is hybrid. You can even download all the logs to provide it to the vendor and say, okay, this is all the logs from the device, so those things. So it's all can be done right through the Intune portal. Usage pattern analysis, you can kind of look at the person usage of those things, and they're all on those reporting as well. And risk prevention depends on the type of license you have. You can do certain fixes as soon as the Intune detect those things. So identify the potential risk and minimize the downtime. And you can, we will also try to show you if the time allows. Responding to the inheritance, as I said, we can create lots of the reporting and the triggers that if the device has an issue, that your admin get notified right away. So they're not going to be dark and kind of not knowing of the device, because we all get busy and we're not going to have time to kind of look at the portal on daily basis. So the instant response report and also regulatory compliance is very important too. Depends on your organization. If you kind of carry in the medical record of those things, and it does support all those compliances as well. So that's it. As I said, I want to just jump into the demo and show you what we have here. So give me 1 second. All right. All right, so once you come in here, this is the Microsoft Intune Admin Center. I hope you all can see this thing. That the options on the site, like services and so on. So there are a bunch of services you can do, apps, devices, and so on. So we're gonna start from the devices first. Again, you can see when you go to devices, you will see the information for Windows, iOS, macOS, Android, and Linux. So in this case, and also the extended menu, and there are many ways to get to Linux. Let's just go through this, and we have here. we're going to go to the Windows, and you can see these are the devices that exist. This is our scenario. You can look at it. I can go to my device here, and you can see I have two devices. One is the Windows uh, device, it's a Surface device, and this is the Windows 365 device, which is cloud-based. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that. And that's another great thing is that you can also manage your virtual devices through Intune as well. So let's just start from my device. You can look at that information. I can go to the, as I was mentioning about the user experience, for example, right? You can look at the user experience, what are the issue, startup performance, it was anything was causing trouble with it, application reliability. So there's lots of information is here. So you look at that, especially for supporting. If I go to the device inventory, it tells me about all information about my device, if it was available, and bias information and so on. You can really get to the very detail here. The hardware device compliance, if the device compliance or not. So we have a couple of compliance here. Device configuration, this is all the configuration set up, and if there are any issue with that and so on. Next thing, we got the local admin password. This is great because in the old days, what we used to do, we used to kind of hardcode the local admin accounts, and now we don't need to do that. This can be done right from the Intune, and is also the keys rotate and so on. So it's not a one fixed things. We talk about that. The manage apps. Again, we got all the apps here that you see available for install, which is those shows in the company portal, and what is installed. So if you go back to the Windows here, and we're gonna go to the devices again. So I'm gonna go to Windows and the configuration on the left side. So again, we have like a menu, like a buffet of options here available, and every organization is different how you do it. And you can see there's a dozen of the different configuration you can have, and each configuration can be set up to who to be assigned to. For example, uh, BitLocker for removable device restriction, Edge Chromium, uh, one of my favorite OneDrive. How can we enroll OneDrive to devices? So you have lots of options and settings here. So if I go to the setting, for example, I have lots of control here. Disable tutorial when you do that. Prevent user from redirecting the Windows known folder to their PC. Prevent user from syncing personal one, because we see that happen. Some people might have used their personal email address for they use their work address for personal use, and that's happened previously. You can do that with the Microsoft, and that's why when you log into the office.com would say, are you using a work or school account or personal? So we want to prevent all those things. And the whole idea is that to make sure everything works and prevent things from going wrong. So we have lots of options here, as you can see. The firewall rules we have, Wi-Fi you can push it, like you can say what's Wi-Fi. So when device enrolled has all those settings. Google Chrome, we have update. You can also, if I sorted this thing, we can also set up how Google Chrome works and all the tabs and so on. So there's lots of control you can put here, like a site page, homepage, and a bookmark enabled and so on. So there's lots of option there. As I said, again, the same thing with the iOS. So we have 3 test iOS devices here. You can look at it, what version it is. So we have a mix of those things. Configuration again from iOS is available too. Again, Windows one is of course is most extensive configuration is available, but you have configuration for iOS and other devices as well. Let's just jump on the apps 1 second. I want to show you this. So again, apps you can set up here that what you want to do, and also you can have things you want to remove perhaps, and you can see how few things that I want to uninstall from devices. You can manage those things too to clean the Windows device from the apps that you don't want. And again, you can select all those things, and when you select any of these options, you can go here and look at it, what's installed. You can look at the property of it. This is for Windows 365 and who are the members that will be available from them to enroll and so on. And you can get very creative. So one thing I show you about the I was talking about, let's just go to the, for example, in this case, we're pushing Microsoft 365 apps plus Visio plus project. So we select the settings here. We have a group here that has that condition. So again, because we have access to what's called dynamic groups, we can find who are these people is. So let's go to all group 1 second. And we're going to search for this. So I have two of this. So Visio plus projects. And you can see who are the members. So how many members we have. And again, if I go to property, you can see this is a dynamic user. So we don't want to select this thing because it become another things that we need to do. So you go to dynamic rules, and I know this is lots of stuff, but every application with the Microsoft has a unique key to it. So we put in a string of the condition here that if the person has this and that and those things, so they can be able to, you can make this dynamic and so on. So again, all about efficiency and make things, you put them, build them upfront, and will self-service themselves. Let's go back to devices and here, 1 second. And that's another important thing that we need to touch on. And of course, right, so devices and Windows. Windows update, this is very important to manage the updates right from here. So what you can do, we have two update ring, Windows 10 and 11. Of course, 10 is retiring, as I mentioned, October, which is important. But you can set up things that when is that the automatic updates happen. We kind of set up the maintenance time. We don't want anything happen between 8 to 6 p.m. and so on. Deadline for future updates, deadline for quality updates, and grace period. Because if we kind of leave it to the user and say, okay, you do their own update, they might never push that button. So we do give them time, they get notified, and they will have a few days of grace period. Once they pass that line, we will enforce the update. That said, once you go there, my apology, if I click a bit too far, then you have your future updates. In this case, again, Windows 10 is last one was 22H2. For Windows 11, 24H2. So you can push those as well. Then, of course, you have a monthly quality updates that you can push. So you can select this. So this have to be done manually. Usually you want to kind of wait a few days before this happens. Just make sure that there's no reported things. And you just need to update this page. The other one that was added about a year or so ago, it is very handy. The driver updates, right? People are not in office. And even though if they were in office, you probably had a system that the people need to be inside the firewall and logged into VPN to be able to kind of do those updates. You don't have to anymore. With the Microsoft Intune, you can do it through the cloud. This will give you recommended updates that we have. So you can see we have few that actually first deployment happened to be today that we do. And there's some other recommendation it does. And then also other drivers. So if what it does is scan all the devices and kind of find what they have, and then we'll search to see if there are latest version of that driver if need to be. And also it tells you how many devices are need that update and so on. So you can kind of make a decision based off that. And if you go to any of this thing and you say, you know what, I don't want it, it just by default is decline and go from there. So you can do that. But again, there's two ways to do that. One is automatic, that as soon as the update come deployed, we kind of prefer the fact that we can decide what update that we want to push in to make sure it does not affect the user. And of course, you can monitor all those things, right? So future update policies with the alert, if you have any of those things, expedited quality update with the alerts and so on, you can, you're always in the know what's happening here. With the one thing about the endpoint security, of course, you have all the controls here that we have, antivirus, disencryption, firewall, and lots of things you can put. You can build tunneling to allow you to kind of, from the compliant devices, you're able to kind of reach out into the your on-premise servers and so on. So there's lots of great feature built into this. One other thing I want to show, that also adding this management tool. You can see the Surface management tool is built to it. I know the Dell and the HP also having the system. Basically, look at your devices and give you a status of all the devices you have. Where are they? Are they compliant to be upgraded? Are they under warranty and so on? so you can get a full insight on all devices here. So this is very important as well. One thing I forgot to mention also, if I go back to here, if I go back to my own device, and I know we're kind of running out of time, just a couple of more minutes. You have lots of also control over here too. You want to restart the device and that, and you can reboot all those things. Remote session through a team viewer. Again, there's a building connector built into it, so you can remote to the user through the either with them approve it, or you can have it that you can log into the device. So there's lots of the things to kind of go over. Again, as I mentioned, our session is a bit short. Just in conclusion, about the Microsoft Intune Unified Endpoint Management, a comprehensive platform to manage your diverse devices across your hybrid work environment. Security and compliance is very important, that ensure that all the devices are secure and compliant. Seamless user experience. Again, as from onboarding one into the device on a brand new device to kind of be able to kind of help them to add their own apps if they need to, and depends on the function, so on, and what they have access. So it really make it very easy once this is in play. That's it. I want to thank you all for attending today's session. So upcoming events, third Tuesday of each month, we have our Solution for Success webinars. We also have AI at work every second Friday until end of December. So we kind of encourage you to attend that as well. If you're interested with the Copilot, you can find all this information on our website at pointalliance.com/event. I hope you enjoyed today's session. Please reach out if you have, would you like to see an extended version of this thing. Again, I know it was only 30 minutes and won't allow us to go really deep into all the futures. If you enjoy our today's session, please scan this QR code, and this is just get you to our Google page, and we would love to receive your 5-star review. That's it. That brings us to the conclusion. If you have any question, I don't see any question here, so hopefully I was able to answer them. As we will send you an email with all this information. The video is going to be posted on our YouTube channel within the next 24 hours. You also get an email link to the YouTube video and a copy of the PowerPoint presentation by end of the day tomorrow. Again, thank you all for attending today's session, and I hope to talk to you soon.